Welcome to the TK Show with the Athletic Bay Area's Editor-in-Chief, Tim Kawakami.
Everybody, Tim Kawakami here, recording from Levi's Stadium. Really glad we drive down here for the big guests. We don't just drive down here for anything. Great to have on the long-awaited. We've been talking about this one for a while, but I'm really glad to have 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan sitting across from me. Kyle, how you doing today?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just obviously, the record's not great, but you go back at it every week. Last year was tough too, and can you compare the two seasons? It's a real generic question, but do you feel better about this situation than you felt about last year right about this time?
Well, I feel every season's different, but it is a little bit eerie how similar it does feel. Last year was a grind, and we came here and we knew it was going to be. We knew what we had ahead of us, and we knew the challenge, and I knew we were going to start out tough. And didn't think we would go 0-9, but I knew it was going to be a fight each week. And we were in a lot of games, but we didn't find a way to win. And then when we did find a way to win, I thought it led up to a lot of momentum. We got Jimmy in there, and guys started playing better. Guys got healthier, and we ended up winning. I think it was 6 of our last 7. So end of the season feeling real good about it. And obviously when you end that way, you go into the next year extremely excited, coming in really healthy. We were able to add a number of players that we thought would help us a bunch. And then starting it out, losing Jet, was a bigger blow than I think people realize. And then when it was followed by Jimmy there in week 3, it was a little bit of a tough pill to swallow. Guys got a lot of excitement, and they're excited about those guys, and you lose those guys, and you do go down a little bit. But I thought our guys have come back and battled and done everything they can to try to win these games, and we've come up short. And you start to sit here and you battle through some of these injuries and some of these tough losses, and it does get tougher for the guys. These guys put a lot into it, and we're working very hard. Nothing's more important to us than to turn this around, but it isn't an easy thing. And I think last year a lot of things clicked that made people feel it might be a little bit easier, but definitely it never is, and it won't be easy. And we're going through that right now, but in terms of how I feel, it is tough with our record, and I am very disappointed in it. But I do feel the same as I did last year in terms of I know I'm in the right place. I know we got the right people here, that we are doing things the right way. I know we got some good players with a lot of character who work hard and who aren't going to quit on us. I know we got a number of good coaches. I know we got a good owner, a good general manager who give us every opportunity to do everything. And really our goal is to turn this around. And obviously that's a big goal, but it's not a quick fix. And I know we got the people who are going to do everything right to get that done.
Started hearing a couple of your players mention trust the process. I couldn't. Listen, when 2 players say it, maybe that's coming from you, or is this something that you're bringing to them? Obviously, it sounds just like the 76ers went through this.
Right.
Do you hear the echoes? Is it something that you're emphasizing? Believe in the process.
I wouldn't say those are the words I used. But I think I speak to the guys similar to how I'm speaking now. I try to keep it real with the guys, and I'm not going to avoid reality. Everyone is extremely disappointed and frustrated, but that doesn't change. Just because you get frustrated and stuff doesn't mean you can't stop working. You can't control what's already happened. You can't control these injuries. You can't control the turnovers that we've been having. You can't control our record right now. What we can control is how hard we're working to improve it and get better. So you got to reset everyone. Sometimes people can get low and hear too much stuff, and I understand you're going to hear a lot of things when we have the record we do, and you got to make sure guys are going to sit there and listen to that stuff. Hear it. If they don't read it on their own, they're going to hear it from their wives, their girlfriends, their friends, and that will affect people. And you got to remind people that, hey guys, nothing's going to be given to us. If you want to do something special, you got to be willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do, and you have to work through this. And this league will weed out people very fast who aren't strong, and that's why many people can't overcome situations like this. And I thought we did throughout last year, and now we're being presented in a very similar situation, and we have to fight through this. And regardless of what our record is at the end of this year, I expect this year to make us better, and I hope it's from turning this around and having a good record. But regardless, this is going to be part of the process, because I think everything can be a positive if you learn from it, and these are necessities that we have to go through to get to where we want to be.
To draft Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and that helps the process.
That does help.
My understanding.
That does help.
You mentioned Jerick McKinnon. And you've mentioned this repeatedly. Hey, we lost McKinnon too, not just Jimmy. And I almost sense you were more torn up. Now, obviously, you're torn about every player getting hurt, but that one, you had planned a lot of things around him, right? Was that for you almost tougher to take because of the differences he could have brought to this offense?
It's just different when you finish a year. You always look into how can you improve your team, and you want to look into free agency, how to improve it, and how to do it in the draft. And the draft is not always, it's not your choice. Yeah, you get to pick who you want when they come to you, but you don't know who's going to come to you, and you can't just go in there and say, hey, we need this position. You need to make sure it's the right guy, and if you believe in the guy and need the position, then you're good to go. And in free agency, you want to be able to go pay guys who you think will help you the most. And we looked in all skill positions. So we wanted to add a skill position, whether it was the top wide receiver, whether it was the top tight end, or whether it was the top running back. And when you looked at all those things, anyone that touched the ball, we believed would help this offense the most. And we looked at all those receivers, the tight ends, and the running backs. And we felt very strongly going with Jet that he could help us a lot in the run game, but mainly the pass game. You know, when you can have a matchup with someone out of the backfield who can beat a safety or a linebacker at any time, and then you have a tight end on the other side who can beat a safety or linebacker at any time, then it makes things a lot easier on your receivers and your quarterback. So that is a piece that I felt could have really helped us in the receiver position and the tight end position and the quarterback position. And sometimes people don't look at it that way, but we did strongly, and that takes a lot of pressure off certain people and gets them better looks. And when we lost them a week before the season, that was a little bit different because it changed a lot of the plans we wanted to do schematically to help out our tight end and to help out our receivers.
You can't just say, Breida, you're going to do the same stuff.
No, it's a different type of players. Breida has a very good skill set and is a very good runner. When it comes to the pass game, he can do some things in the pass game, but he's a different player in that way than Jet is.
You're the I won't say boring, but of the two teams in the Bay Area right now, you're the ones where we're not having hand grenades going up all over the place. And I don't want you to. I'm not asking you for a backdoor rippage of anybody and someone you know real well, but a coach coming in, and you've got the clout when that happens. Do you sometimes have to resist doing too much or doing big things to just make a difference? Did you have to resist that a little bit when you came in with John?
You have to do what you think's right. And you don't want it to be impulsive. You got to realize that it takes time to get to know people. There's people that sometimes come off a certain way when you're with them a week, and then you get into the season with them 5 games, and you're like, man, now I get why this guy's a player. Now I get why people want to go to war with this guy. And so when you come in, and especially when you're taking over a place that had just lost, everybody wants to change everything, and you do too when you come in. But you gotta do what's right, because once you make a decision, you can't go back on it.
You changed a lot, though. You have changed a lot.
You definitely do, and that's, and I think you have to. But you asked, do you do it just to do it? And no, you need to involve a lot of people, because not everyone just. I'd like to say that you can get to know everyone on your own, but being the head coach and stuff, not everyone's always themselves to you. Everyone's pretty cool to you, and you don't know exactly how everyone is.
That's not a bad thing sometimes.
It's not a bad thing, but sometimes it's hard to know who people really are. When you do learn that is when you go through adversity. Yeah. And we learned that a lot about people last year. And you learn that, and you try to build your team once you see that. And I think we're going through that this year also. And that's why it does help you find out things about people who you think can help you win in the future, who you think can help you win now, and who are the right people who can help you get through these things.
Is there a guy that you could say, listen, I really learned something about him in the positive through either last season or this season?
Yeah, there's a number of guys on our team, like just going through it with Saleh, had a veteran like that who, was banged up throughout the year. He's been fighting it this year too. And for him to just continue battling throughout the year, even when we were 0-9, and to get that first win and to sit and finish out the year. And, it's when you have that record like that, and you have some veterans and things who haven't, they want to play for something, and they realize they don't have the chance at the playoffs. What are they playing for? And to see some guys who can be up and down, but when they have nothing to play for, they're still out there. They're still playing harder, and you realize that that's a guy that I can win with. That's a guy that can handle the good and handle the bad. And Staley showed that well. A number of our receivers battled through it. Kittle, just being a rookie last year, people don't have an idea of the stuff he played through last year. He was never too hurt not to go, but he was always hurt. And a lot of guys, that pressure would have got to him as a rookie. And he made it through 16 games that way, which was extremely impressive for a rookie. And that's what you learned going into this year is, man, once this guy gets healthy, how much stronger he'll be. And you learned a lot about guys doing that.
Can you? I don't want to make wild comparisons, but can he be a guy like a Gronkowski where you almost base 60% of the pass offense on what the defense has to react to with him, or just go to him and just feed the ball to him?
I think he has that ability. It's when people get double coverage and stuff, you would love it if to make it easier and have other people that have opportunities and can get open much easier because he's going to demand double coverage. But the point he's at right now is that every time he doesn't have double coverage, he is winning at a very high level. And it's not just in the run game, it's the pass game. And I mean, it's not just the pass game, it's the run game also. His all-around play has been very impressive. I think he gets better each game, and you can just see the confidence. I think it's not just coaches and players who can see it. I guarantee the fans can see it. When he catches the ball, I mean, he is looking to score, even if there's 10 people in front of him. He has a mindset that he's not going down, and that's a mindset that he's developed through playing. And he's had ups and downs, but the success he's had and the failures he's had through his first year in 4 games, to me, those have all been positives for him because he truly believes he can be great, and right now he's playing at that type of level.
We're going to take a quick break to talk about our friends over at Hims. 66% of men lose their hair by age 35. Some of you Warriors fans probably have a joke about this regarding a certain Los Angeles Laker, but it's not funny when it happens to you. The thing is, when you start to notice hair loss, it's too late. And why do guys turn to weird solutions, or even worse, do nothing, when they can turn to medicine and science? forhims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for men. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss. No waiting room, no awkward doctor visits, and save hours by going to forhims.com. It's insanely easy. Answer a few quick questions, a doctor reviews them, and can prescribe you products which are shipped directly to your door. Order now, and TK's listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today right now while supplies last. See website for full details. This would cost hundreds of dollars if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. So, go to forhims.com/TK. That's forhims.com/TK. forhims.com/TK. We're going to take another quick break to talk about our friends over at Robinhood. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission-free. They strive to make financial services work for everybody, not just the wealthy. The Robinhood app is insanely easy to use, which is fantastic for a novice like myself. Other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, but Robinhood doesn't charge commission fees. Trade stocks and keep all of your profits. There's easy-to-understand charts and market data. Place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. The Robinhood web platform also lets you view stock collections and analyst ratings of buy, hold, sell for every stock. Learn how to invest as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks and track favorite companies with personalized news feeds. Custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood is giving our listeners a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help build your portfolio. Sign up at tkshow.robinhood.com. That's tkshow.robinhood.com. And now, back to the TK Show.
So you mentioned you learn a lot about guys. What are you learning about Robert Saleh right now? And obviously, he's someone the defense has slipped a little bit statistically from last season. Is he someone that you have to evaluate as you evaluate everybody? And what's the evaluation right now?
Well, I evaluate everybody every single day, so it's not something I would just look into when we're struggling. It's something I look into when we're doing good. And Saleh is someone that, I'm not worried about Saleh. I've been around a lot of coaches and been coaching this league for a while, and Saleh knows what he's doing. He knows our scheme inside and out as good as anyone. There's a number of people who run our scheme in the league, and I go against all those schemes, and I know what Saleh's done to change it and improve it. I believe it's a much harder one to go to. I feel like there's other things to it that he's expanded, and he's a guy that I think our fans give him the time. I know I will. Our players who work very hard for him. Saleh is a guy we should feel fortunate to have, and we will be good with Saleh. We need to improve a lot. We will improve our coaching. We'll improve our players. But just because we're facing some adversity and every time someone misses a tackle or every time that there's a bust of coverage, that's not a reason for me to think all of a sudden that a guy doesn't know what he's doing.
There are no absolutes in this league, obviously, but Robert Saleh is your defensive coordinator next season.
I mean, I'm not going to make any comments like that, but I mean, if that's going to get blown up, I think I just said that I believe in Saleh a lot, and for him not to be here would be a huge surprise to me.
You brought in a lot of guys. Kittle's been a star. There's been other successes. There have been some others that haven't been successes. How do you evaluate your own and John's personnel moves right now? Do you have some large regrets, or do you think it's generally been the way you wanted it to be?
Well, I think it's generally been the way you want it to be. You know what you would love to get. It'd been great to find a way to get Khalil Mack or something like that, or you'd love to get that big time guy that you make a splash deal for. But I know that's not from a lack of effort. I know that we've done everything possible in that area, so I do feel good about that and have no regrets. When you look at all of our drafts, or the two of the drafts, I feel like there are a lot of players here who can help us and be a part of this. We look at ours last year, and we played more rookies last year than anyone in the league by an extreme number. It was very different. And I think all those rookies and a lot of those young players are what allowed us to turn our team start 0-9 and finish 6-10, take a 2-14 team to a 6-10 team, to take our offense and defense from 32nd to, I think we finished 12th and 20th on defense, I forget. But I thought we improved in a lot of areas with people that we had brought in, and those weren't guys that we brought in because we just went and spent all first-round picks on or just a ton of money on. A lot of those guys were fifth-round picks, sixth-round picks, seventh-round picks, some lower free agents that weren't big money that have started for us and contributed. So I believe that we have built a pretty good foundation here of players. What I would like, what I think everyone would like is to add some big-time difference makers, and that's what we're looking for, and that's what makes things a lot easier. But that also doesn't just happen. You got to see those opportunities. You got to find some diamonds in the rough, which I still think that we have some guys on our team that can develop into them. Like we have seen Kittle so far this year. I think we have some receivers who can. The possibility of some corners too. Matt Breida is. We're second in the league in rushing, and I believe if he's been healthy this full time, I think he'd be the leading rusher. And we got him as an undrafted free agent.
7 yards of carry, whatever the hell that was.
Right. So I do think we've added a lot of good guys without having to go do it with all real high picks or a ton of money. I still think we're in a good situation from a salary cap standpoint. We haven't gotten rid of a lot of draft picks to add what we've done so far, and I think that's what I'm explaining when I say a lot that we're trying to do it the right way. And it's hard in this league to try to do it the right way because there is a lot of pressure to win. And trust me, no one feels or puts more pressure on themselves than I do and than John does. And we want to win right away. I would love for us to make 15 trades here on Monday right before the trade deadline.
Don't do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it would make me feel very good for the next week or the next 8 games. But that's also something that can really hurt your organization for the future when it comes to salary cap and the picks that we need to build this. So hopefully people can be a little patient with us. I know I'm trying to be patient with myself also. I want this to change as bad as anyone, but we're going to continue to not panic and try to do it the right way.
I want to talk about one pass evaluation. You had the number 2 pick. You traded back to make it the 3 pick, and you draft Solomon Thomas. And we can discuss on that one. But Trubisky was the pick for Chicago. You've talked about he was the top quarterback on your draft. What was your evaluation of Mahomes and of Deshaun Watson? Did you have them way up there? Did you think, you got Jimmy, so it's not going to, but at the time you didn't have a starting quarterback theoretically. Did you think about those two?
Oh, yeah, we thought about everybody. And, the situation with the quarterback, we did evaluate Mahomes. We evaluated all of them. And they, the two you speak of were extremely talented quarterbacks who had a ton of ability and guys that, I don't think anyone's ever a slam dunk in the NFL, but you knew their talent was. And there were also 2 guys going through the interview process that you believed in the type of people they were. But when we came here, we were in a situation where, I felt very strongly that worst case scenario, within a year, we'd get a franchise quarterback. And knowing that and feeling that confident about that, I didn't feel that, and John didn't feel that we needed to take a risk on anybody. We needed to build this the right way, add a number of people, not just a quarterback, because we knew at the end of that year we would have a quarterback. And
one of 2 guys, probably.
Yeah, at the time, I thought, at the time, the only thing I was sure of was one guy, and I think everyone knows that. And we still had to get him signed and everything, but I was pretty confident he wasn't going to stay where he was.
And did you think you were going to get him?
Yes.
Kirk Cousins we're talking
about.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it felt very good that we would get him. And when you know that and you got a great guy sitting there waiting, I think it was smart that you tried to build it a different way. And obviously we didn't end up with Kirk because something else fell into our lap, and we were extremely happy about that. And I do feel and know we have a franchise quarterback. Unfortunately, he got hurt this year, which puts us a little bit behind the 8 ball. But he is a quarterback. He doesn't. He'll be back next year. We might not be able to run the zone read very much with him. But I
You didn't do it that much with him, did
no,
you?
0 times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if I ever do it, that'll be a first with him.
I was trying to picture him running. I go, I don't recall that ever happening.
I think if
so.
I called it, he would hand it off anyway.
Yes. And I think the entire defense would pretty much know that.
No, and it would be a smart decision.
Well, one thing I had to bring up when I ran into you at the Warriors game. Kyle Shanahan, you might not know, is low profile as possible because what happened? You call my name, and then what happened?
Well, you kind of big time me, to tell you the truth. You went right by me. I grabbed you, said hi. You kind of like, you didn't say it, but your face said, "Who is this idiot? Get away from me!" And then I had to go grab you again just so you look back at me.
No,
like, hey, you know me.
Well, you had the baseball cap
Yeah.
on. I think you had a sweatsuit on, right?
I just said no. I don't wear sweatsuit out, but I did have a hoodie.
Yeah,
I did have
that's
a
what it
hoodie
was,
and a
that's
hat,
what it
and
was.
it's honestly pretty much where I wear everywhere, and no one ever recognizes me.
I was going to say,
so.
do people recognize? I'm going to try to get some.
And I'm
respect out of
very,
you.
very little. I wore a hat on Monday Night Football, and that got a lot of. I've had a lot of people send me stuff on it, pictures, kind of making fun of me for it. So I think my cover's blown now. But
Yes.
I mean, that's how I dress when I'm outside. It's not a disguise. It's just how I
Nobody's
dress.
nobody's like going, that's Kyle
No,
Shanahan.
no one-
And you don't
no.
give up that vibe at all about it, which is a good thing.
I'll just try to be myself, and people probably don't believe that young-looking, probably skater kid over there is the head coach.
I thought
so.
you were a college kid. I literally thought you were a college kid. And it was like, I had to turn around and go, oh, that's the coach of the 49ers. I should better stop and say hello. That was hilarious. I just thought it was hilarious. But I just think that must be your thing. I mean, you were out in the street and people just think it's...
Yeah, I don't get noticed
Anybody.
very much here. Yeah, not at all. It's not too bad.
You can win a Super Bowl or two. I think that
Yeah,
might
that
change.
could change.
Go ahead.
That could
That'd be
change.
terrible for your
Yeah,
life,
That'd
I'm
be
sure.
tough to deal with.
Yeah,
but
horrible.
We win a Super Bowl, we'll deal with anything.
Okay, I'll ask you. Last time you were on the show, I asked you for your favorite restaurant. It was a great answer, and helped me with the Sherman story too. By the way, people
Yeah.
were saying they're at this. Nick's
Yep,
corner.
Nick's next door.
Next door. There you go. I'll ask you another question though. Kyle Shanahan, what's your favorite book in your whole
All
life?
right. Haven't read too many books from beginning to end, but Power Now was a good book that I read right when I got out of college.
Okay, I don't know
Yeah, it's a philosophy book. It's really good. Eckhart Tolle, The Power Now, and then he had a follow-up book to it called A New Earth, and it was a strong book. It kind of became like my spirituality for a while. It was nice.
What kind of stuff?
Just worrying about things you can control. Now I'm trying to get out of your own head. Trying to not be such a compulsive thinker. I think it's about people have an addiction to kind of thinking too much, and once your mind starts going, it can take over, and that's not always reality. And you got to quiet that mind sometimes so you can think correctly. And,
I would think this was coaching. You can't just think about everything that might be.
No,
You gotta
there's a
pick-
fine line, and I have a habit to think a lot, and so reading a book like that kind of gave me a little bit of perspective on yes, you want to think, but you want your natural intuition to come, and that usually can lead you to the right decision. And there comes a time where thinking can be very beneficial, but then you cross that line and you overthink some things, and your biggest strength can become your biggest weakness.
Now, what's the name? What's the title again?
The Power of Now by
Power of
Eckhart Tolle.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that one
And
up.
that's good stuff.
All right, Kyle. Listen, I appreciate your time. I know you're always busy, but this was a great conversation. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim. Enjoyed it, man.